Reborn, I made a decision. This time I wrote my younger sister's name, Xu Hui, on the marriage registration form. This time I fulfilled the fate of Lu Haohian and Xu Hui. In this life, I was the one to act first. I let my sister wear the wedding dress. Let her slip the engagement ring onto her finger. Every encounter between the two of them, I arranged myself. When Lu Haohian brought Xu Hui to Beijing, I immediately went south to study at Shenzhen University. Because in my previous life, even after I turned 50, he and his son knelt down before me, begging for divorce, pleading for a chance to let him and my sister finally be together. Reborn once more, all I wanted was to spread my wings, to fly freely, unburdened by love. Once you're done, give it to me. Lu Haohian, impatient, tapped the table. I stared at the marriage registration form, my fingertip gently brushing the rough paper, my thoughts drifting far away. In my previous life, I had treasured this paper as if it were an imperial decree, solemnly writing my own name, then happily dragging Lu Haohian to buy wedding candy. But in the end, he scolded me harshly, just because he was in a hurry to cook brown sugar water for Xu Hui during her period. Casually, I replied, I know. I glanced up, catching his anxious expression and the hand that never stopped checking his watch. Today, he wore a white shirt, sleeves rolled up to the elbows, revealing strong arms. I still remembered. Xu Hui liked this look best, always saying he looked clean and handsome. If you're busy, just go ahead. I forced myself to sound relaxed, suppressing the bitterness in my heart. I'll submit it myself once I'm finished. Sure enough, he let out a sigh of relief, his tone softening a little. Don't worry, after we're married, I'll take responsibility for you. But you mustn't be jealous of Xu Hui anymore. If others find out, it could damage her reputation. I stayed silent. In my previous life, I had explained countless times, but to him, I was always the selfish, narrow-minded older sister, unable to tolerate my gentle, fragile sibling. He didn't say anything more, just turned and hurried away. I took a deep breath, trying to calm my pounding heart, but memories of my past life came rushing back. On our wedding night, he used taking care of his sick sister as an excuse, not coming home at all. When he joined the army, he only brought Xu Hui, saying she had never been to Beijing. Even on the day my son was born, he wasn't there, only caring for Xu Hui, who had just gotten divorced. When I was dying, my son pleaded softly in my ear, Mom, please divorce Dad. You mean nothing to him. He has suffered with you for so many years. Let him go. I lay on my hospital bed, looking at my cold, silent husband standing by my side. He didn't say a word, but that deathly silence said it all. I bit my lip until it bled, then slowly let go. Number in this life, I will not repeat the same mistake. I picked up the pen and slowly wrote the name Xu Hui into the registration form. Lu Haohian, if you love her that much, then, just as you wish. I handed the completed form to the clerk, took my marriage certificate, and walked out of the registry office. Surprisingly, I didn't feel pain. Instead, a strange sense of relief washed over me. In my previous life, after our parents died in the line of duty, both Xu Hui and I were adopted by the Lu family. Xu Hui was clever and sweet, always knowing what to say, so much that our adoptive parents cherished her even more than their own daughter. Mother intended from early on to marry her to Lu Haohian, but all it took was one line, I don't want to compete with my sister, and Lu Haohian willingly married me instead. But the truth was, she only wanted to keep him as a backup. At that time, he was only a regimental commander. She wanted to wait for someone better. I went to the university, checked everything I needed to prepare, worked out my living expenses, and only then felt at ease. As soon as I stepped into the military family residence, I heard Xu Hui's sweet, coquettish voice. Brother Haohian, you came home to be with me, not your wife. Do you think she will be angry? It's fine to be with her sometimes, but every time I have my period, It hurts so much. You can't let me be alone. Xu Hui laughed happily, then quickly put on a look of sadness. Hao Hien, after you marry my sister, you'll still be good to me, right? Of course, Lu Hao Hien replied firmly. If I'm not good to you, then who would I be good to? If your sister ever treats you badly, I'll divorce her. My fists clenched tight as I struggled to suppress the bitterness in my heart. So even after being reborn, hearing those heartless words from my own husband still hurt just as much. I forced my emotions aside and acted calm as I walked into the house. Lu Hao Hien stepped out of Xu Hui's room, a hint of embarrassment on his face. I just saw that Xu Hui wasn't feeling well, so I checked in on her for a bit. I responded indifferently with a single, and turned to head to my room. In my previous life, I'd fought countless times over the way they crossed the line, over and over. This time, I wouldn't waste any more of my time or energy. He called out to me, Hui Nim, why don't we buy some wedding candies to give to the neighbors? I stared at him, surprised, then instantly understood. He probably wanted to make it up to me because I wasn't causing a scene or making a fuss. There's no need for such formalities, no point exhausting ourselves over it. He froze for a moment, almost in disbelief that I'd refused. Xu Hui emerged from the room, face innocent and pitiful. Sister, are you angry at Hao Hien for taking care of me? She was wearing the Lenin Xiu outfit I'd bought specifically for my wedding photos. That was the outfit I'd spent half a year saving up for in my past life, and never once had the chance to wear. Noticing my gaze linger on her, Xu Hui grew flustered, quickly explaining, I just saw this on your bedside today. It was so pretty. I wanted to try it on. I forgot to ask you. She lowered her head, twisting her fingers together like a guilty child. Out of habit, Lu Hao Hien started to speak. Huan Hiem, don't. I cut him off, my voice completely calm. You look great in it. Consider it a gift. I've never worn it anyway. The faint scent of sweat and blood still clung to that outfit, making me think of the night I'd come home crying in my past life. Now it just made me feel sick. Under their astonished gazes, I turned and walked back to my room, locking the door behind me. I took out my file bag. Inside was my admission letter to Shenzhen University. In my previous life, I'd always loved the South, especially the finance major I'd dreamed of. But for Lu Hao Hien, I gave up on studying, willingly became the dutiful wife and daughter-in-law. This time, I was still in time to change things. I only wanted to live for myself. I checked my calendar, just 10 more days until I could finally leave this place. Time was short, I had to start preparing. A sudden knock at the door pulled me from my thoughts. Annoyed, I got up and opened the door. Lu Hao Hien stood there, holding a bowl of noodles, his voice gentle. Are you hungry? I made you some noodles. I froze for a second. In my previous life, he was either cold or harsh with me. It had been so long since I'd seen this gentle side of Lu Hao Hien. I already ate. There's no need. How could that be? Haven't you always been frugal, reluctant to spend money? His words stabbed straight through me like a knife. It was true. Back then, I'd always been careful with every cent, saving up most of my part-time earnings just to buy things for him. But now I was about to leave for university, with so many expenses ahead. Every penny mattered. I looked up at him, my tone calm. A few days ago, I gave you 50 yuan to buy wedding items. I don't think you bought anything. Give it back. He hesitated, then stammered. I used it to buy new shoes for Xu Hui. I smirked. Nothing new there. It's always the same. If that's all, I'll go to bed now. He seemed annoyed. We're husband and wife. Do you really have to be so calculating? I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. So you can use the money I worked so hard to save just to buy things for someone else, and I'm not allowed to care? He knew he was in the wrong, but stubbornly muttered, You're impossible to reason with. I couldn't be bothered to argue anymore. With a loud bang, I slammed the door shut. In the days that followed, I sold off some things, trinkets and souvenirs from my previous life. Looking at them now, They were nothing but piles of cheap, worthless junk. I gathered everything up and sold it for scraps, getting just a little money in return. That afternoon, as I continued packing my bags, Lu Haohien stood in front of me, holding out a 50 yuan note. "Here's your money," he said stiffly. I took it, nodded. "Thank you." He watched me, his gaze complicated, then shifted to the pile of luggage I was sorting. "I plan to bring Shu Hui with me to Beijing ahead of time. You don't need to pack anymore." I kept packing, only nodding in response. He seemed unsettled by my indifference, clearly not used to this side of me. "What's been going on with you lately? It's like you've become a different person." I turned back, impatience in my voice. I don't want any more trouble. Even if Lu Haohien didn't love me, if he discovered that I'd written Shu Hui's name on the marriage registration, he might drag me back to redo it. For her sake. I wanted nothing more to do with the two of them. "It's nothing. I'm just packing. When you leave for Beijing, I'll go back to my hometown." He breathed a sigh of relief, even tried to explain. "It's not that I don't want to bring you along. It's just, Shu Hui's never been to Beijing. She wants to see it for herself. I'll come back for you in a few months." I nodded, unmoved. In my past life, for 8 long years, he never once came back for me after joining the army. Not until Shu Hui married a regiment commander did he finally bring me to Beijing. Out of disappointment, he looked at me as if I were a stranger. In the past, whenever we were alone, I was always clinging and talkative. Now I barely said a word. It made him uneasy. "Didn't you always want to take wedding photos? Let's go tomorrow." "No," I answered. "I need to buy things for university." Just as I was thinking up an excuse to refuse, Shu Hui came in, clinging to Lu Haohien's arm. "Haohien, you're going to take wedding photos. I want to take them too." Lu Haohien smiled, patting Shu Hui on the head. "All right, we'll all go tomorrow." I quickly said, "You two go ahead. I have something to do." Lu Haohien frowned. "What could be more important than taking wedding photos? We'll take the pictures first, then I'll go with you to buy things." His voice was firm, clearly not giving me a choice. Shu Hui acted innocent. "It's not because of me that you don't want to go, right?" I didn't want to argue. I just nodded my agreement. Early the next morning, I could already hear Lu Haohien's gentle voice coaxing Shu Hui in their room, urging her to get up. A red mark on the calendar reminded me, just 4 more days, 4 more days, and I could leave this life behind completely. I waited and waited, nearly out of patience, before they finally strolled out of the room. Lu Haohien carefully poured hot water, helping Shu Hui wash her face. I used to be so naive, thinking if I just married him, he'd treat me the same way. Lost in thought, I didn't notice Lu Haohien approaching. Awkward, holding a ring in his hand. "Sister Chu said everyone wears a ring now when they get married, so I bought you one." I didn't take it. In my previous life, there was never a ring. Shu Hui immediately pouted. "It's so pretty. I want one too." I said coolly, "Then you can have it." Lu Haohien's expression darkened. "Don't joke around. This is our wedding ring." But Shu Hui snatched the ring, slipped it onto her finger, and waved her hand in front of him. "Haohien, does it look good on me?" Lu Haohien gazed at her dotingly, a silly smile on his face. Then, as if remembering me, he glanced over and lowered his voice. "I'll buy you one next time." I only nodded, unmoved. I'd heard promises like that 1,000 times. Not once did he ever keep them. At the photo studio, Shu Hui went first. She even took countless pictures with Lu Haohien. When it was finally my turn, the photographer suddenly paused, scratching his head in embarrassment. "Oh, sorry, we're out of film." Inside, I was screaming with relief, but on the outside, I kept my calm. Never mind, let's just forget it. When we left the studio, Lu Haohien pulled a train ticket from his pocket and handed it to me. "It's a standing ticket to Beijing, 4 days from now. I'm not trying to leave you behind." Lu Haohien said he would go ahead to Beijing first to get everything ready and wait for me. That train would take 3 days and 3 nights to reach the city. I had no idea what he was thinking, assuming I could stand for that entire journey. And as a military family member, I would be traveling alone. Where was I supposed to sleep once I arrived? But I knew asking him now wouldn't get me any real answer. When I took the ticket from his hand, I could see the relief in his eyes. "Don't worry," he said. "Even if you're not living in the military compound, you'll always be my one and only wife. I'll treat you well. Shu Hui is just like a sister to me." For a moment I wavered. He had never said such words to me before, not in all those years. Suddenly, a truck sped out from the corner of the street, barreling straight toward us. Without thinking, Lu Haohien pulled Shu Hui tightly into his arms and quickly dodged to the side. In the chaos, someone shoved me hard. Through the panic, I saw the car racing straight at me. My body froze, too terrified to move. At the last second, the car swerved, clipped me, and dragged me for a short distance. Pain exploded through my body. My vision went dark, sweat soaking my skin. The driver jumped out in a panic, stammering, "Miss, are you all right? Are you hurt?" People gathered around, whispering, pointing, crowding closer. I searched through the crowd and found Lu Haohien. He was holding Shu Hui, comforting her softly, not even glancing my way. Maybe he saw. Maybe he just didn't care. I let out a bitter laugh. Any last bit of hesitation in my heart vanished. So this is what he meant when he said he'd treat me well. The driver took me to the hospital. After the examination, I was lucky, just some scrapes, minor internal bruising. I lay in the hospital bed, my whole body aching. But inside, I felt strangely calm. Late that night, Lu Haohien finally arrived, looking exhausted. When he saw I was awake, he looked a little flustered. His words rushed. "Hua Nim, are you all right? Are you feeling better?" I stared at him coldly, silent. He rubbed his hands together, face tense and awkward, trying to explain. Shu Hui was so frightened, I had to stay with her so. When he saw my eyes, he suddenly fell silent. "Huan Hiem, please listen. It was chaos. Shu Hui was closer to me. I just acted on instinct." He hesitated, as if searching for the right words. "I never thought you'd be the one hit by the car." I cut him off. "When are you leaving for Beijing?" He answered warily, "Tomorrow." "All right. I'd like to rest now. Please leave." I closed my eyes, making it clear I wanted him gone. Lu Haohien seemed to want to say more, but finally he left. The next day, Mother Lu arrived, carrying a thermos and smiling brightly. "Huan Yim, are you feeling better? Haohien asked me to come take care of you." "I'm much better now, thank you, Mother." She ladled soup for me, fussing as she went. "That boy, Haohien, he's always so clumsy. I wonder if he's taking good care of Shu Hui." Halfway through her sentence, she seemed to remember something, quickly shutting her mouth. I spoke slowly. "Mother, actually. The one who married Lu Haohien is Shu Hui." She froze for a moment, shocked. Then suddenly her face lit up with joy. "You... What did you say? You wrote Shu Hui's name on the marriage form?" At first she was stunned, then pure happiness bloomed on her face. "Huanim, you're such a good child. I knew you were always the most sensible. Thank you for bringing them together." She gripped my hands, full of excitement. I only gave a faint smile. In truth, I was just setting myself free. Mother Lu had always liked Shu Hui more. In my previous life, I took care of her to the very end, but she left everything she owned to Shu Hui anyway. "Mother, for now, please keep this a secret from Haohien and Shu Hui." She grinned, eyes crinkling. Of course, I understand. So, what are your plans for the future?" "In a few days I'll be leaving too." I didn't tell her where I was going. She wanted to ask more, but her mind was already busy with wedding plans. I closed my eyes and pretended to sleep. I left the hospital without telling anyone. Before leaving, I wrote Lu Haohien a letter. Hao Hien, by the time you read this letter, I will already be on the train heading south. I know you've always loved Xu Hui, so I'll grant you both your happiness. Our fate has ended. I wish you both the best. I placed the letter, along with the train ticket to Beijing and our marriage certificate, into an envelope and mailed it to his address in Beijing. Dragging my suitcase, I walked briskly to the station. The air in Shenzhen was much warmer. Standing in front of Shenzhen University's gate, I couldn't help but feel a little dazed. Walking through the campus, I suddenly felt as if I'd been given a new life. By day, I sat in class, fully focused, absorbing every bit of knowledge. At night, I worked part-time at a small diner, serving tables, washing dishes, so tired my whole body ached. But this kind of exhaustion brought me peace. A month went by, and I gradually got used to this busy but fulfilling life. Until the day I saw Lu Hao Hien standing under my dormitory building. Huan Hiem, why did you do this? Why did you write Xu Hui's name on the marriage certificate? Why didn't you come to Beijing? His voice was filled with anger and confusion. I looked at him coldly. Because I don't want a husband whose heart is always with someone else. It's disgusting. It makes me sick. He stared at me, wide-eyed, in disbelief. How can you say that? You were never like this before. I turned away, waves of nausea rising inside me. I couldn't stand to look at him for even one more second. Lu Hao Hien, all I want now is to study, to start a new life. Xu Hui is the one you truly want, isn't she? The two of you should cherish each other. Please, stop disturbing me. He ran his hand through his hair in frustration. You're talking nonsense. I've always seen Xu Hui as a sister. I let out a cold laugh. What kind of brother hugs his sister so intimately, even secretly kisses her? I still remembered catching him kissing Xu Hui while she slept, his gaze so gentle I could never forget it. His face flashed with embarrassment, then instantly twisted with anger. Huan Hiem, stop talking nonsense. There's nothing between me and Xu Hui. I sneered. You call that sibling affection? It's utterly revolting. Let me go. Consider it freeing yourself too. His expression darkened, but he had nothing left to say. I remembered, when I was a child, just adopted by the Lu family, I was so afraid I didn't dare eat my fill. One night, hungry, I snuck out to the garden to eat leaves and was caught by Lu Hao Hien. He shared his snacks with me, gently patted my head, and said, Huan Hiem, don't be scared. I'll protect you. That fleeting warmth was what drew me into his trap, step by step. That's why, in my previous life, even knowing he didn't love me, I still agreed to marry him. After that, Lu Hao Hien kept hanging around the university. I did my best to avoid him, wanting no more ties between us, but I never imagined he would go to the principal and try to help me withdraw from school. When I was called to the principal's office, Lu Hao Hien was already there, sitting seriously at the desk. I was furious. Lu Hao Hien, what do you want? What right do you have to force me to quit school? He stood up, moving toward me, reaching out as if to grab my hand. I instantly stepped back, dodging his touch. To go back? Just to keep watching you and Xu Hui together. His face froze, then twisted with anger. Huan Hiem, don't talk nonsense. We're husband and wife. You running away to the south. This long-distance relationship is a mess, I scoffed. Lu Hao Hien, your wife is Xu Hui. Her name is on the marriage certificate. The one you love has always been her. His face turned pale, jaw clenched. That was a mistake. Then correct it. You made me misunderstand before, but you won't do it again. Is that it? My heart turned cold. He said these exact same words in my previous life. But in the end, didn't he always run back to Xu Hui? I turned to the principal, my voice earnest. Sir, I truly want to continue studying here. Please, don't let me be forced to leave. The principal looked at me, then at Lu Hao Hien, silent for a moment before speaking. Mr. Lu, if you and student Huan Hiem have no legal relationship, you have no right to withdraw her from this university. I breathed a sigh of relief. Lu Hao Hien tried to protest, but the principal cut him off. If there's nothing else, please leave. I have much work to do. In the days that followed, Lu Hao Hien just wouldn't give up. He harassed me so much it started to affect my studies. And to make matters worse, Xu Hui showed up too. Hao Hien, please, let's just go home and get a divorce. I don't want this anymore. I don't want to steal my sister's husband. I'm the bad one. She clung to Lu Hao Hien's sleeve, crying pitifully. Lu Hao Hien, distressed, pulled her into his arms, gently patting her back. Xu Hui, it's not your fault. Don't cry. Let's go home now. It's my fault for making you suffer. Xu Hui sobbed, almost trying to kneel in front of me. Sister, I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at Hao Hien. I know you misunderstand us. Don't kneel. It's my fault for making you suffer. Let's go home. He shot me a look, as if blaming me for making a scene. The crowd of students grew, whispering, gossiping, watching the spectacle. I couldn't be bothered with this clumsy drama anymore. I turned and walked away. If you want to put on a show, go ahead. I don't have time to watch. But I had to admit, Xu Hui was good at what she did, because after that, Lu Hao Hien never came back. I threw myself into studying, joined the math club, and got to know Kodich Tan. He was tall, slim, always wore black-rimmed glasses, and his smile was bright. He was great at math, often helping me out, and over time, we grew close. Just when I thought my life was finally finding a rhythm, letters from Lu Hao Hien began to flood in, one after another. Huan Hiem, are you still mad at me? I know I was wrong. Come back. Huan Hiem, Xu Hui is pregnant. The baby is mine. I know it's hard for you to accept, but please believe me, you're the only one in my heart. Huan Hiem, enough is enough. How long are you going to stay angry? What do you want me to do for you to forgive me? I tore up his letters and tossed them straight into the trash. Where did he get the confidence to think I'd ever come back? Maybe he was just shameless. The restaurant where I worked part-time always smelled of oil and smoke. I quickly wiped down the tables, then looked up and saw Kodich Tan sitting in the corner. He smiled gently at me. I avoided his gaze, keeping my head down and working. Even after my shift ended, he was still there, a few untouched dishes in front of him. Come eat with me, he said, pointing at the chair across from him. No need. I've already eaten, I declined. But my stomach betrayed me with a loud growl. He laughed. Your skin is so thin. Just sit down and eat. I couldn't resist his kindness, so I sat down. The clay pot soup was steaming, warming me from the inside out. I ate quickly, too tired to care about appearances. Slow down. No one's going to steal your food, he teased. Halfway through the meal, my nose started to itch. I looked up and saw Kodich Tan grinning, holding up a grain of rice. Is your nose hungry too? He joked. I blushed, quickly bowing my head. I knew he liked me. His eyes never tried to hide it. But for now, all I wanted was to focus on my studies. Everything else could wait. Winter break arrived. Mother Lu kept calling, urging me to come home for Tet. After all, they raised me. I couldn't just cut all ties. After some thought, I bought a train ticket and brought gifts home to Sun Than. The moment I stepped into the Lu family's house, a shrill voice hit my ears. Lu Hao Hien, what do you mean by this? I'm telling you the child in my belly is yours. I'm not coming back here to be treated like this. I froze at the doorway, staring at Xu Hui, heavily pregnant, furiously shouting at Lu Hao Hien. Lu Hao Hien's face was as dark as charcoal, but he didn't dare argue back. He could only coax Xu Hui softly. Xu Hui, calm down, please. The doctor said you can't get too emotional. It's not good for the baby. I just want that coat. Go buy it for me now. Xu Hui, I've already spent my salary for this month. Can it wait until next month? He gently helped her sit down, his voice full of defeat. It's all my fault. I'm useless. Still just a lowly squad leader. You didn't give her money, did you? Xu Hui's tone sharpened. Lu Hao. Hien's expression changed immediately. Shu Hui, don't say that. It's been over between me and her for a long time. Over? You think I'm stupid. You write letters to her every few days. You think I don't know. You never loved me. All you care about is her. Shu Hui sobbed, pounding her fists against his chest. Lu Haohien finally lost his patience. I said there's nothing, so there's nothing. I stood in the doorway, watching the scene unfold, finding it so ridiculous it was almost unbelievable. In my previous life, he hid his contact with Shu Hui from me. In this life, he hides writing letters to me from Shu Hui. No matter what, his nature never changed. Greedy, wanting it all, never truly loyal. Lu Haohien was never a faithful man. The first to notice me was Mother Lu. Huan Him, you're home. Come, help talk some sense into Shu Hui. She's gotten so stubborn lately. She grabbed my hand, her voice oddly flattering. I pulled my hand back, replying calmly, I'm tired. I want to rest in my room. Her face froze for a moment, but she said nothing more, turning back to coax Shu Hui instead. She was nothing like the overbearing mother-in-law I remembered from before. Back in my room, I unpacked the New Year's gift from Kodich Than, a red Lencia scarf. I wrapped it around my neck and smiled unconsciously at my reflection in the mirror. That night, there was a knock at my door. When I opened it, I saw Lu Haohien standing outside, looking haggard and anxious. Huan Him, can we talk? I stepped aside and let him in. He rubbed his hands together as if gathering courage. Huan Him, the one I really wanted to marry, from beginning to end, was always you. I've always been waiting for you. Shu Hui is getting more difficult. She spends recklessly. I couldn't help but laugh, my voice full of sarcasm. Waiting for me. Lu Haohien, even you don't believe that, do you? You were waiting for me while getting Shu Hui pregnant. What do you take me for? His face turned red, panic in his eyes. Huan Him, please, let me explain. I cut him off coldly. There's nothing to explain. You and Shu Hui have a child now. There's nothing more to say. I wish you both happiness and a healthy baby. He fell silent for a few seconds, as if remembering something. Lately, I've been dreaming about you. In my dreams, you're the one marrying me. You're gentle, kind, staying home to care for my parents. He paused, pain in his voice. But even in my dreams, all I see is Shu Hui. I treated you coldly, hurt you. I was such a bastard, even forced you to divorce with our son. I froze. He dreamt of his past life? He held his head in his hands, voice thick with regret. I'm sorry, Huan Him. I want to make it up to you. I forced down my anger, my voice colder than ice. If you really want to make amends, then live well with Shu Hui. Stop dragging me back into your mess. That's the best thing you can do for both of us. He looked at me, disappointment and unwillingness in his eyes. But it always felt like you were the one meant to be my wife. I lost all patience and flatly told him, Lu Haohien, you should go. This isn't your place anymore, and these aren't words you should say. He stood up, shoulders heavy, and walked out of the room. I watched his back, without a flicker of emotion. Whether in this life or the last, Lu Haohien was always trapped between two women, greedy, never satisfied. I began to think. Now that Lu Haohien and Shu Hui were both here, there was no need for me to stay. The Lu family had never truly been my home. The next morning, after finishing my packing, I went to knock on Mother Lu's door. I pressed a bank card into her hand, my voice calm. Auntie, thank you for raising me all these years. The money in this card is everything I've managed to save. Please accept it as my way of repaying your kindness. Mother Lu looked stunned, quickly trying to push my hand away. Huan Him, how could I take this? Keep it, child. I pulled my hand back, picked up my suitcase, and replied without emotion. There's something at school, so I'll be leaving now. Without looking back, I walked out of the Lu family house, feeling not a single trace of regret. At the train ticket counter, the line was long and slow. When it was finally my turn, the clerk told me all tickets to Shenzhen were sold out. The earliest available trip wasn't for another 2 days. Annoyed, I wondered where I should go. Did I really have to sleep on the street? Just as I was feeling lost, a familiar figure appeared in front of me, his hands full of bags. Huan Yim. Ko Dich Than's face lit up with joy as he hurried over. I was genuinely surprised and greeted him with a smile. Dich Than, what a coincidence. You're in Son Than too? Yeah, he nodded. What about you? No place to go yet. He sounded worried, then hesitated before saying, If that's the case, why don't you come spend Tet at my house? I was startled, immediately waving my hand. Oh no, that would be too much. I'd feel embarrassed. Embarrassed about what? He smiled gently. It's just me and my grandma at home. It's always so quiet during Tet. Having you there would make it feel more festive. Besides, I'd worry if you wandered around on your own during the holiday. He hesitated, then pleaded. Please, Huan Yim, just help me look after Grandma for a few days. She gets lonely by herself. Seeing his gentle, slightly playful expression, I couldn't help but laugh. Unable to refuse his kindness, I finally nodded. As we stepped out of the station, a cold wind whipped around us. I instinctively pulled my coat tighter. Ko Dich Than immediately took off his jacket and draped it over my shoulders. A warm, woody scent enveloped me. It's really cold, isn't it? He asked. Son Than is much colder than Shenzhen. I shook my head, but warmth spread quietly through my heart. Ko Dich Than's house was tucked away in the old quarter of Son Than, a 2-story home with a charming vintage feel. As soon as we stepped into the yard, the aroma of steaming buns filled the air. At the kitchen door, an elderly woman with silver hair stood smiling at us. Dich Than, you're home. And who's this? Her eyes landed on me, then sparkled with delight. Oh my, did you bring a pretty girl home for Grandma this year? Embarrassed, I blushed and bowed my head. Ko Dich Than laughed, introducing me. Grandma, this is Huan Yim, my good friend. Come in, it's cold outside. Grandma busied herself in the kitchen while Ko Dich Than helped me carry my luggage upstairs. The room wasn't large, but it was clean and warm, the bedding carrying a faint scent of sunlight. Rest a bit. Buns will be ready soon, he said softly. I nodded, sitting on the bed and gazing out at the snow falling beyond the window, a deep, unfamiliar sense of peace settling over me. Maybe this is what a family should feel like. That evening, we gathered around the table, savoring steaming hot buns. Grandma Ko kept piling food into my bowl. Huan Yim, come visit often, okay? Grandma's house is always open to you. I smiled, my heart warming. After dinner, Ko Dich Than suggested taking a walk in the nearby park. It was winter, so the park was nearly empty, just a few couples enjoying the rare quiet. We walked along the lake in silence. Snow drifted down softly, settling over our shoulders like a silken shawl. Thank you, Dich Than, I said quietly, breaking the silence. He looked at me, confused. For what? For giving me a place to belong, a safe harbor. He laughed, teasing me gently. Then, would you like to repay me with your heart? I held him back, letting out a playful huff and feigning arrogance. In your dreams. But despite my words, I felt a little ripple in my heart. So tell me, how exactly do you plan to repay me? Don't forget, I rescued you from a real crisis at the train station. His exaggerated tone made me want to laugh. I tried to hold it in, but still pretended to be serious. A rescue? Please, you were just taking advantage of my situation. He pretended to think it over, then nodded solemnly. All right then, how about this? Until school starts, you cook for me every day. I rolled my eyes and shot back. You wish. I'm a terrible cook. Don't get your hopes up. He grinned, eyes crinkling with amusement. That's all right, I'm not picky. I took a deep breath, trying to steady my racing heartbeat, but memories from my previous life kept playing in my mind. His shameless persistence made me laugh and grumble. You call this repaying a favor? Clearly you're just trying to take advantage of me. He sighed, feigning disappointment. Seems I'm not charming enough, huh? Then, all of a sudden, he leaned in closer, his dark eyes glinting mischievously. Maybe I should try a little harder. I felt my cheeks flush hot, hurriedly taking a step back. Hey, don't you dare. He burst out laughing at my flustered expression. Just teasing you. He reached out and gently ruffled my hair, his voice soft and gentle. Come on, let's go home. Grandma will worry if we're out too late. When we returned, Grandma Ko had already prepared a steaming bowl of ginger tea. Drink this, dear. It'll chase away the cold. I cradled the bowl, soaking in the warmth that filled the little house. For the first time, I felt a quiet anticipation for the future. Maybe letting go of the past and starting over wasn't so bad after all. On New Year's Eve, fireworks lit up the sky in dazzling colors. The explosions echoed through the night, wave after wave, painting the snow outside my window with shifting hues. I stood by the window, watching the reflections dance on the frosted glass, feeling as if I'd stepped into an entirely new world. Happy New Year, Hwan Hiem. Kodich Than's voice drifted to my ear, his breath warm against my skin, making me shiver just a little. I turned to meet his gaze, eyes as deep as the sea. In that moment, time seemed to stand still, and my heart skipped a beat. Happy New Year, Dich Than. He leaned in, so close his words were a whisper right by my ear. I like you, Hwan Hiem. Outside the window, fireworks kept blooming, each burst of light illuminating my face and lighting up the gentle smile on Kodich Than's lips.